Alright guys, in here taking apart this transmission. One of the subscribers over here. Just looking around at it to show y'all, I took apart the 400 for Jeremy. It's got a 16 element, you can tell because how this has ridges in it. It would also have a smooth, if it was 34 element, it'd be smooth. So that needs to be upgraded for sure. Just put this back on here, put the ring back on it. I was looking, the first few clutches I pulled out looked good. Then I looked at a few of them, and there was a few of them burnt, some heat spots on that. Then there's also some, a few of those look good, but then a few of them had some heat spots on it. Fixing to pull out that second gear, check it, and I'm gonna check the pump too to make sure the pump looks good. So let me pop the snap ring back on. I'm gonna figure out what his goals are, because this right here, it don't have to be upgraded. I mean, if he's wanting to make it a little bit of power, he needs to upgrade it while I'm in here, save him trouble down the road. But if it's something that he's just going to go through and I could just fly through with a cam or something like that, then that don't have to be upgraded. But let's go up in here. I'm gonna kick this clip off here and check them clutches. This thing would have worked, but it would have caused him some problems. Look at the rust. Somehow it's gotten water up in the pump. So I didn't even touch this at all. Gears wasn't terrible, but like I said, they it moves. We might polish it out, but one thing about it is there's some ridges right there. Right there's the problem. So right here's your problem with this transmission. This is why those clutches got a little bit of burning on them. If you look, see that ridge right there? There's a ridge. That gear right there has that end of that. So it needs a pump and then just a clutch kit or whatever, clutch steel kit, and maybe even upgrade the I ain't gonna lie to you, I was taking put this side loose, I realized this fell down once I took the bolt out of it. I say it's pretty screwed when you can go through and pull your pinion out. Still have my old crush sleeve in it. Look at it. John gripes at me all the time about this thing, but we're probably going to replace it this time. But like I said, it's pretty screwed up when you can pull your pinion out without taking your differential or your spool out of the way. So I knocked the race out of it too. It don't have no signs of the pinion being loose, so it had to be just a broken gear. I honestly think that the ring gear broke. When the ring gear broke, it caused it to shear that pinion off. Anyways, we're gonna get it pulled out, get it cleaned up, knock a new race in it. This time I'm gonna do a bearing spacer on the pinion, and we're gonna go through and get this thing back together. So I'm gonna go and get this gear took off of it real quick. I always make sure when I do these gears and stuff like this, I spray brake cleaner on it. I go in here, I blow out all these holes. I make sure I blow off my mating surface too, and get it both cleaned up real good before I put them together. That way you don't have a piece of trash that could wedge off and make that gear, make the spacing wrong or something, cause you problems down the road. So I always try to make sure both mating surfaces are super clean. That way you get a good nice clamp to it. And then I'll lock tight all my bolts, put all my bolts in it and all that. Taking apart Heavy's transmission today on Newman TV up on here. This thing right here is tried pretty good, I'd say. Get this thing apart, see what's going on inside of it. So I got this little spacer deal off John. I had to knock it down on this ring here for a solid spacer. This comes up here and goes like this. So it fits inside there. But what you do, you come around and you take these shims and you get your spacing right. So I measure my old crusher sleeve to see about where I was at. So now I'm gonna start stacking these up to go through and get exactly what my height needs to be to have this solid spacer like that up in there. And it should work out pretty good. All right, now guys, it's Tuesday night. Got in here, I got me a solid pinion got me a solid pinion spacer from John. Ended up putting it on. I got it, I'm pretty close just off sound. We're gonna see what the pattern is though. Run the pattern backwards and forwards, smack it around a little bit. Figure out what the wear pattern is. And hopefully all went well. I measured my my crusher sleeve that come out of it. I measured it, so when I done the shims, I put it up right there at the same area, and all that stuff just went by so easy. A lot easier than what it normally does. So, looks like we're about center on that one. Let's see on the back side. If we on the inside, we're dead on it. Looking good on it. So now I need to go back over here and hold it. Let me hold it real quick and get a backside pattern. Let me just make sure it's right. But we should be pretty close now. All right, we got the brakes back on it, got it full of fluid. Now we're gonna get up in this thing, see if we can't fire it up. Pump my brakes, we're gonna get them. There we go. Well, me and Nikki's on our way down here to get some C16, to get some fuel for the race car. We got the race coming up this weekend, so I need some fuel for it. We have some testing coming up, so I need some fuel for it. So I'm gonna come here and blow my week's pay on some C16s. But anyways, we got the results back from Nikki's her thyroid stuff. So ended up, we took her yesterday to the let me turn my wiper on, to the surgeon and talked to him, and he said that basically they're glad they removed the whole thyroid like she decided to, because when they got in there, the stuff that had the big knots was not cancerous. That she had 2 spots of cancer, like 2 small spots in the bottom of her thyroid in each lobe. So it was 1 on each side, so there's 2 spots of cancer in there. So they're glad that we decided to go ahead and be like we are and just say, the heck with it, if she's gonna be on medicine anyways, just take it out because of the cancer spots. But on the other side of it, they were both small enough not to worry about, and they were encapsulated or whatever.
It's
so
called papillary thyroid carcinoma, and they were real small, like 0.3 centimeters and 0.4 centimeters, so they were really small. But even if we would have done a biopsy, they would have only biopsied the 2 that were the biggest. They would have never biopsied the smaller ones because they weren't considered like highly suspicious. So I'm really glad we decided to take it out.
Yeah, so like they said that they're glad that looking in hindsight, looking that it was a smart thing to do to go ahead and take it out like we did, because like we're very compulsive people. We're very not compulsive. We're very spontaneous. So when something happens and we know something, we just get it done, get it out, overdone with. We're not we don't harp on stuff. We don't sit around and think about it. We don't worry about it. We just get it over and get it done with. I mean, them 15 days, 16 days from figuring it out to getting it out to now, it went by pretty slow because Nikki was worried and the stress of it up until we went to the doctor's visit. She was upset about it. And then we got a doctor's visit, and the doctor's like, you know, if you had a cancer, this would be the cancer you would want because it's easy treatable. No one's ever died from it that he knows of. And it'll be good. So then when he went through, so he said, you know, we got to talk about the cancer word. He said, them big spots, he said they were nothing. He said they were suspicious, but that's because, what's that word called, Nikki, that you have?
I have
Hashimoto's disease. So they said that with Hashimoto's disease, you need to go through, and it passes on genetically. So you need to have your kids checked for it.
Which all that means is basically Hashimoto's is an enlarged thyroid.
Yeah, it's just a large thyroid. But they said that because them big spots were from the Hashimoto's, that basically they would have never found them small spots if she wouldn't have removed it. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been one of them things that it would have got worse before they would have figured it out. So it was 2 little small spots in both lobes. So it was good that we removed the whole thing, because like when they start talking about just taking half of it out, Nikki's like, nah. She's like,
well, it was kind of a blessing that one of the nodules was causing me to having issues swallowing anyways. That was the whole reason for all of this. My heart was getting out of rhythm. I mean, I was like fatigued. I would go from one end to the, I mean, it was crazy, like the way I was feeling all the time. And they had me wear a heart monitor and done heart ultrasounds. They couldn't find anything wrong. And all along it was my thyroid. And had I not kept telling them, you know, I feel like I have a lump in my throat when I swallow, then they would have never, I mean, they would have never thought anything about my thyroid, because my levels were good for so long. For like 7 years, my thyroid levels have been good on my blood work until just recently. And then it went from like hyper to hypo. It was like going from one end to the next. And it was all over the place. And honestly, if that lump wasn't bothering me, I would have never even had them, you know, say, hey, take it out. I would have probably just had it biopsied, and then I'd been living years down the road and realized I had thyroid cancer, and it could have been a lot worse.
yeah. So like I said, I mean, it ain't nothing to play with, but nobody wants to know that you got cancer. You don't. Like, I'm the type person, I just want to check about this place. I don't want to know about nothing. If I got it, we'll worry about it. My dad always said, you know, if it's swollen, you hit with a hammer. If pus comes out, you see a doctor. Otherwise, you don't worry about it. And that's just kind of been me. If I can't hit it with a hammer and pus don't come out, I don't worry about it. But Nikki, she's different. She's a woman. So
well, I went from feeling perfectly fine every single day of my life to all of a sudden feeling like I was going to pass out, heart racing, all kinds of craziness. And I'm like, something's not right. Even Sammy started thinking like I was a hypochondriac, cuckoo, as he said.
I started to tell her that lump in her throat was about to be that right there. I was about to put a lump in her throat. She was going to the doctor so much. I said, Nikki, I said, you're going to keep going to the hospital. I said, them fools going to treat you like one of the crazy ladies with the cats. I said, they going to go through and be like, well, it's 7 o'clock. Oh, Nikki's about to come on over here. She told me one day, she said, that doctor knows my first name. I said, duh, because she goes by Nikki, but her real name's Pamela. So I said, duh. No wonder. You go over here enough, they get to know you. You know, I go in the same places all the time. They pretty much know my name. But
yeah,
no, but that was
attention to your body. Like, if you don't feel right and they keep telling you something's, oh, everything's fine, everything's checking out. If you know something's really not right in your body, stay persistent with it, because you never know.
Yeah, but like I said, so that's the big thing with it is the fact that dang, that truck got hit pretty good.
They're standing right there.
Must have run off the road or something. But yeah, that's the big thing with it, is like I said, they got it out, getting rid of it, got rid of the cancer. So they said that they feel 100% positive about everything. They said now in a year she will need to go get a ultrasound done on it, just to make sure and all. They said, but normally if they were worried about it, you'd have to get a dye treatment, more radiation, all that. And they said they feel very confident by it, with his experience, that it's good. So anyways, y'all's prayers work, so please like, share, subscribe, and comment. I'll see you one later. Thank you.